It's a large region. It's not dainty. You've got ridge lines, you've got rushing rivers, you've got coves, and you've got a lot of curvy mountain roads to get someplace to. But what we did was look at that and go county by county, literally, putting heritage plans together, doing assessments of what counties had, which was a good way to remind people that they really live in a very grace place. So we did all of that and worked hard to pull it together. And I think what that taught me was that what we had really become was a promoter of civic vitality. Everyone came to the table equal. It didn't matter which county you were from or which community, you had something to contribute to our heritage and our culture and our traditions.
So our partnership has been exceptional. It's been patient. They've been patient with us because we have people there who really understand what it's like to live in these mountains and struggle from day to day, and they believe in us. That makes us work better and feel better about what we do.
Some of the features that actually Blue Ridge National Heritage Areas helped us establish, the Jackrabbit Mountain Bike and Hiking Trail, our Cherokee cultural exhibits, the Cherokee Homestead exhibit, and of course this courthouse, which is we always felt like it would be the focal point of the town, especially, but it's also the kind of the hub of the wheel of the county. I just think those kind of grassroots projects like that expose heritage and culture of the region, really, I think they're invaluable in bringing more traffic to the area.
You know, the Park Service and the Blue Ridge Parkway leadership have been at the table with the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area since before it was even legislated, and now 15 years later, I would say that relationship is stronger than ever.
I believe that our partnership with Blue Ridge Heritage Area has impacted our community greatly, and I think that it will go on for generations. We're planting trees and landscapes that hopefully my grandkids and great-grandkids will be able to see and hopefully fulfill that niche in the ecosystem to protect those species.
Being a partner with the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area has been very special for us because of the passion of the staff who works there. The partnership is not just a grant and a project, it's an ongoing relationship. And it's an ongoing relationship with folks who care, not only about our community and what we do, but care very much about the promotion of the musical heritage, not just in Surry County, but throughout North Carolina. And it's become clear over the years that music is certainly the thread that ties all of us together.
The word that just keeps coming up for me is connecting. That the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area is such a connector. It really helps in many ways to connect organizations with each other, to facilitate connections with people. I can't tell you how many times we refer to the Traditional Artist Directory. That's a wonderful tool too. And also connecting communities. I don't know of any other organization that does quite such an extensive or quite such a thorough job of that connecting.
I'd say the way the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area has impacted me personally, it would be through connecting people all across the Blue Ridge. I've had a lot of opportunities to perform. The Blue Ridge Music Trails is a great part of the program, and really bringing people into the music helps the musicians, but it also helps the community come together, and whether it's advertising for venues, getting people the word about the jam program, or putting musicians in touch with each other. It's all good work and helps to strengthen our community for sure.
This Heritage Area has a tremendous focus on local communities. It's not just simply a designation from our federal government. It is an active, living presence in so many of our communities. And I have a chance to work in a lot of places as a consultant in a lot of destinations and regions around the country, many of which are heritage areas. Nobody else does the kind of work that this heritage area does in actively engaging with its stakeholders.
I think one of the really wonderful parts of what the heritage area has done, they maybe don't even take credit for, which is communities realizing the value of their own community and what the assets and resources are within their community, and then connecting regions to each other, especially like with the music trails and now the craft trails, finding common threads, so to speak, between communities that they can share with each other and have in common. I think that's been a really wonderful contribution of the heritage area to the region.
My work has always been about preservation, but the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area allows for that access and that sharing of that material. So if you just preserve things and keep them hidden, yes, they deserve to be preserved, but without that access to the community, you're lacking that other half of the equation.
First of all, there are a lot of unfortunate and unfounded perceptions or beliefs about our region. Well, the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area provides grants out in that region where folks can show their skills, their talents, their history and heritage, everything that is needed to build self-esteem and self-worth in communities.
The Blowing Rock Art and History Museum, BROM, was a recipient of a grant, and we have a fabulous exhibit in our largest gallery called Southern Strands, and it's an exhibition of North Carolina fiber artists' work. It's all contemporary. What the grant funding has done for us is really maximize this exhibit.
Sometimes take for granted that we have all these assets in our backyard, and cultural, heritage, scenic, and natural assets that we have here in Nashville and in Western North Carolina. And it's easy to take for granted, but we have to do things that help preserve those assets. And yes, some of that is through programs like the grant program that the Heritage Area does, but some of it's also helping people who are engaged in those assets realize that we can have preservation as well as how do we use those assets to create economic opportunity for our residents.
Many of these artists live in smaller communities, and those communities just don't have the infrastructure to allow the public to really engage with the artisans and their work. So the Blue Ridge Craft Trails is attempting to fill that gap, and I think it is filling that gap in a way that will be helpful to visitors, and certainly we hope that it will be helpful to the artisans and their communities in terms of providing a stronger economic platform for their work.
Our relationship with the Blue Ridge Heritage Area is critical. To date, they have been the only outside funding that we have received for this project. I also think that we have a cohesive shared mission with them. Our mission is to restore the heritage to this area through natural resources. Without the funding from them, we would not have been able to push our project as far as we have.
There is a lot to be proud of here. Preserving the values of the mountains, independence, do something for your neighbor, and it's the values of the region that we are celebrating. We call it saving the good stuff, and that's just what the Blue Ridge Heritage Area is doing. The other thing that I'd say is the dedication of the leaders of the Blue Ridge Heritage Area to fairness, to inclusion, and to accomplishment. So they are marvelous.
Right now it stands as the only regional organization that we truly have. We've had others that have come and gone and so forth, but right now the Heritage Area still wraps its arms, its work, and its vitality around all those mountain counties.
I think it's really important to share this music with the future generations, young folks. It's so fun to play for one. Without them, it can't go on. All traditions are at risk of dying out, and thankfully through the JAM program and many other programs and grants along with it, we've been able to strengthen it and really help it grow.
You know, one of the things that has characterized this heritage area too in its 15-year history is the fact that it has evolved over those 15 years. You look at how the organization is now compared to how it was when it was founded, and it's different. It is different in a good way. It's continued to evolve to meet the needs of the region. And the one thing I know is that while many of our assets date back literally hundreds of years, the heritage area will continue to evolve in ways to both showcase those assets and, again, to create economic opportunity around those assets. The fact that it has continued to evolve is a very hopeful sign for the future. And I think the responsiveness of this organization to the needs of the region has been remarkable and will continue to be so in the future.
We want respect for our heritage and our traditions and our culture. I've often thought of us as the Mythbuster. We have broken the myth of Little Abner and Snuffy Smith and the movie Deliverance. We have shown the value of our heritage.